Father Stu is the real-life inspiring story of a man who unrelentlessly chases his dreams from boxing to acting, but after a life-changing moment, decides his passion is to become a Catholic priest. I'm joined by Mark Wahlberg, who's the star and producer of the film. Mark, good to see you.
Thank you.
How did you come across the story and what interested you in making it?
Oh gosh, I was having dinner with two priests and one of them started pitching me on a movie. I said, doesn't get any more Hollywood than this. I mean, how do you even make sense of this? All right. And then I said, he told me the story. He was like, what do you think? I was like, I really wasn't even listening. And then he insisted on telling me again. And then it started to register. I was like, oh my God, I've been looking for more things to do to express my gratitude and utilize the talents and gifts that God has given me for his greater good and the work that he really wants me to do. So I said, oh, I'm going to make this movie. And that was literally 6 years ago. We started the process and here we are finally today.
You know, Stu faced a lot of challenges once he was ordained. How do you think he built such a following and such a big impact and made such a big impact?
Because he was a man of real life experience. All the things that people were going through, he had been through in one way or another. And he was authentic and people knew that, you know, especially when like he did his prison ministry. He could have easily, if he didn't find God, he was definitely going to be in one of those jumpsuits. And, you know, those guys could recognize right away. The difference between the kid who knows the word and the guy who lives the word is very different. And people recognize that. People know when I communicate to young kids in the neighborhood like I grew up in, and I say, you know, I kind of tell them my story. They feel like, oh my gosh, if I could do it, they certainly can do it, you know, and it's invaluable having that real life experience, and it's just so effective that people would wait for hours in line to come and talk to him, and if he had something negative to say to you, he would do that too. You know, he would just tell you the way it was, and if you were doing the right thing, he'd tell you to continue on, and if you weren't, he'd set you straight.
I think God saw something in you worth saving. But it's up to you to decide what you've got to offer.
It's the place you told me you believed in me. And I thought it makes sense being back here to do this.
Your son is about to make a huge mistake.
Well, I'm gonna be a priest.
For Halloween.
What aspect of Stuart Long, you know, inspires you the most?
I think it's the hope. I'm inspired by the hope of the film, that no matter how badly your life goes, there's still a possibility of a silver lining.
He has this sort of quixotic nature, you know, which is something that I guess I have a little bit of myself, but certainly not as much as I've seen in other people. And I think it's a really beautiful quality when people have such idealism about, you know, what they're capable of or what they might do. You know, I'm going to move to Hollywood. I'm going to be an actor. It's so crazy, but to him, it's completely attainable, you know, and similarly, I'm going to be a priest. It's like, really, you know, but I love that he never let other people's doubts about him deter him from his goal. That's something I really admire.
You know, he faced a lot of challenges and Carmen saw those challenges. Once he was ordained, why do you think so many people started to follow him and believe in him?
Because of his honesty and his purity. I think there's a scene in the film, right by the end of the film, where the character comes to the church. My character comes to the church, and I had no plans for that scene whatsoever. I just wanted to see the set and wanted to see how it was going, and I was just gonna respond to Mark. And as soon as I sat down, I remember I saw him, and he had already gained all the weight. Mark was so pure, and he was so honest and vulnerable, and he broke my heart, and I just started weeping. I couldn't contain myself. I started weeping, and that's the scene that stayed in the film, but it wasn't planned. The scene wasn't like that. That just happened in real life. And I feel like Mark really channeled that Father Stu. And I feel like that's why people responded to Father Stu, because they were what happened to me with Mark. I feel like Father Stu was as pure and as vulnerable and as committed to what he believed like Mark was.
And why should folks go watch this movie in theaters?
Oh, this is the movie that you have to experience in cinemas next to other people, and sharing in the laughs and the tears and the inspiration, and also the reminder that, you know, we're all the same. We all have to be there for each other. We have to see the good in each other. We have to support each other unconditionally, and we have to continue to have hope and faith. And it's going to challenge people to do a little bit more themselves.
It's a captivating story worth seeing. Go check it out at Cinemark theaters. You can get your tickets at cinemark.com.
Where are you going?
Well, I gotta get your ass to church on time.
Who are you here to visit, sir?
Father Stu.
You and everybody else.
When the man comes around.
We shouldn't pray for an easy life, but the strength to endure a difficult one.